Okay. This year is quite the presentation. I'm going to explain to you why you should watch Critical Role. If you haven't watched this show, you're really going to want to get on this. This is really a good thing right here. So, first we got to start talking about what is Critical Role. Essentially, it's a D&D show with voice actors instead of, sweaty nerds in a basement. It is a real show with high production, quality. There's a lot of money that goes into it. They have stages, and they have lights. They got all types of crazy stuff to make it look and seem professional, which it is. Every single interaction is not scripted. It is completely improvised. So you get a lot of really cool and interesting dynamics between all these characters. You cannot see that in a normal show. You only really get it in something like this. It's set place in this really cool, rich fantasy world called Exandria. You're not going to get that in the book. And right now they're on their third campaign, because in every campaign is these kind of independent stories that all take place with one group of adventurers as they level up and progress through their world and discover mysteries and beat bad guys and those types of things. So you've got 3 things to pick from, which we'll talk about that later. And one of the coolest things about it is the game is set up like this. You see this picture in the background here. There's this guy who's really important. He's the dungeon master. He basically sets the scenes and he plays all the characters except for the ones played by these people here, which they each have 1 character. And they each role play that character, to the best of their abilities, and have cool abilities and those types of things. And when they describe things, it's not a movie, it's not animated or anything. You just imagine it in your head. It really is a unique experience. You don't get that in other shows. So now consider at this point, maybe you're not settled yet, but let's say if you do want to start watching this. There's 3 main starting points, I would say. There's the first campaign, which takes place with the characters in the party of Vox Machina. While it is the first one, it's not necessarily the first one that you should watch for a couple of reasons. I'll say the first one is because it starts in a really confusing place. They don't really explain things. And even on their website, which you can go to, criticalrole.com, they have an article saying, well, where should I start? They don't recommend that you start here. And if you do want to start at the beginning, you want to start like episode 24. Don't even bother with the beginning. But give you the main reasons you shouldn't watch it. They're actually animating it and turning it into an animated series called The Legends of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime Video. So just wait for that, because it's going to be better. It just is. Of course, the second campaign here, they just finished that earlier this year. It's called The Mighty Nine. There are not actually 9 of them. You see, it's this German word for no. It's a play on words. This is actually a picture of the characters in that campaign. It is pretty good. I've watched that one all the way through. I would recommend, if you want to start there, you can. But really, the place where I would really recommend starting, just because there's like over 100 episodes in Campaign 2, is Campaign 3, which doesn't have a title yet. They haven't gotten that far yet. Because guess what? It's only 5 episodes in. So if you want to start watching now, you can catch up. And keep in mind, these are independent stories. While certain characters show up again and certain themes and places and stuff reappears, you don't need to see these 2 to watch this one. So 5 episodes, okay? It's not that much. Go here. So, and let's get in here. Let's get some boys here. Why should you watch it? It's incredibly entertaining. It does it in a way that, it's different from every other show. You can't just watch, Breaking Bad and imagine the whole thing in your head. It doesn't work like that. You think Bryan Cranston was improvising his lines all the time? No, he memorized like a 30-minute dialogue. Totally different. You see, one thing about the cast here that's really amazing is that out of the 7 main cast members, they're all like real-life best friends. They've known each other for like years and years and years. Some of them are married. Some of them have been best friends for over a decade. It's just a really good dynamic, and you see it in the game. You see it before the game when they do advertisements. You just see it everywhere. It really permeates the whole experience, their friendship, and you almost feel like you're friends with them. That's how strong their bonds are. One thing is, and this is something that you're not going to see in other shows, is every episode And some people might see it as a downside, but that's just the wrong perspective, you know? Every episode is 4 hours long. So you get so much content in every episode. You know, and some people might say, you know, that's unmanageable. I mean, you're an adult, probably, I'm assuming. I mean, who has 4 hours a week to watch this show? Guess what? That's only like 30 minutes a day. It's not that bad. You can break it up very easily. I do it. I've been watching it for like almost a year. So, yeah. It's not as hard as it sounds. You just gotta make time for it. Just like every other show, game, whatever else thing you like to do. And this is a really big point here. The community, okay? You really want to know about what's going on in the community. They have some really amazing fan art like this. They make freaking hilarious memes. They make you raffle and lol all the time. LMAO. It's kind of awesome. And I'll actually show some examples I have on the next slide. So here's some fan art of the Mighty Nine being watched over by an evil entity, the Somnovum. Look at them, their big old red eyes. They're kind of spooky. Here's some fan art of the group from the first campaign. That's Vox Machina. It's very high detail. Someone did this for free. Like, could you imagine doing that for free? I couldn't. And then here's like, this one's kind of like a joke, where there's two characters in the newest campaign named Bertram and Fern, and someone said Bert and Fernie. So people drew them as Bert and Ernie. I think you get the joke. I think it's kind of funny. Also, there's a little monkey there. So let's just wrap this up in a neat little bow. In summary, you know, it really is a seriously unique show that is worth watching. Just in general, it's really good. The story's amazing. You're not going to see other shows like this. Even among other D&D shows, this is the only one that has like a real budget. It has a real production crew. It has, you know, everything. They actually even just recently, and during this campaign, they have like this thing where the lighting changes. Like he just changes the lighting, so when it's dark, he makes it like really dim and stuff. It's kind of weird. It's really interesting. Really, the improv, you don't get that type of thing with most shows, and the entire thing is improv. There are a few scripted segments, like say if you did watch Campaign 3, the end of the third episode is very scripted. I'm not going to say what happens. I don't want to spoil it, but it's very scripted. So, you know, these the cast members, very dynamic. They're incredible friends. They make it a joy to watch. And of course, you cannot forget to mention the community. It's one of the best ones out there, especially if you use Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter. They're really active on Twitter and Tumblr though. Just, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's incredible. You gotta watch this thing, you know. I think that's about it.